Cent Podcast.
Cool. And we're live. Welcome back to You Deserve a Drink. This is Matthew speaking, and I'm joined with Rizzle, as always. What's up, Rizzle?
What's up, man? Excited again for another episode. I feel like we're getting stronger and stronger as the week goes on.
Totally. Cranking these bad boys out. So I know at the top of the list, we wrote about all the big bounties that all of a sudden started to pop back up on Cent. So that's always a welcome sign, but I just wanted to get your thoughts on what you think of some of these bigger bounties from folks like Gold Key, Mackie, and a couple others.
I mean, obviously, I think it's great for the community and everything, right? It certainly generates some, a little bit of a buzz and some excitement and everything. I don't know. I'm always like not really sure like what the sweet spot is with bounties in terms of like, you want to put out enough money to elicit the quality and of responses, right? You want to pull like a few of our good lurkers out of the woodwork to see what they think about things. But you also, it's after a certain point, it becomes like a bot alert too. And you start getting like a lot of really random things popping up. Good spelled with 2 G's is one of my favorite bot responses that seems to always, fill up some posts like that. I always think back, like there was one post like a while ago, and I think we mentioned it in a previous podcast or something that someone had made, and it was just like text. It was like, should men shave their legs or something like that? And no bounty or almost zero bounty. And I think it gathered like 70 or 80 like opinionated responses to it or something. So certainly it's not like all about the bounties to incentivize discussion. Certainly it helps, especially if you're new to the platform or you haven't been around for a while or something like that. It does like generate some discussion where maybe the post would have slipped through the cracks. In your opinion, is there a sweet spot? Does it sort of depend on the post or what are you thinking?
Yeah, so there's a couple of things. I think it's a powerful tool. The way that it's situated within our product right now, it's not optimal. Also, I mean, you alluded to some of the bot problems. It does operate sort of like a bot signal right now, since it relies on sorting, which is the user crowdsourced voting mechanism. So touching on that point real quick, as a team, focusing on the updates that we have for the product, one of the big changes is to how we structure bountying. Obviously, this isn't 100% set in stone, but it is sort of the general direction that the team wants to go in. Instead of allowing the bounty distribution to be determined by user-based sorting, I think that it's probably time to put the power back in the hands of the original poster and the bounty setter for them to divvy up the bounty as they see fit. How that would actually look when it's released in a couple of weeks or whenever it gets out there could change slightly. But the thought is to, again, just let the bounty poster set and determine who gets the bounty so that it can really act as a signal for higher quality responses. Now you can see the other side of bounties as a powerful vehicle for visibility. So if you're new to the platform and you don't have a bunch of people following you, you're not sure exactly what channel to post to, you add a bounty on there. It doesn't have to be huge and people will see it because people want some money. I think that's a really, really powerful tool that you just can't get on any other site. Mackie posted an article about this the other day saying how there's such a discount on that visibility right now. And for people that want to start building a following, it's a perfect way to use that feature right now. It is always cool to see people put up like a $50 bounty. I think the one thing that people need to be mindful of though is like, $50 bounty is cool, but if you're going to distribute it to like 100 people and you want some quality feedback, you're probably not going to get what you wanted. So there's that balance of being mindful of like how much will eventually get distributed to people. But I'm super excited for the changes to come to bountying personally. I feel like it's an underrated feature. It's obviously not going to be the main update, but when this update happens, I think a lot of the old users, myself included, hopefully you and a bunch of others, will appreciate that because it'll help actually increase the quality of responses and act more like I think people expect it to act.
It seems like an awesome change, right? Putting the power back in the post creators' hands to how they want to split up their money. And it seems like that's the way it should be. I guess, my initial concern would be like, how do you avoid creating an echo chamber, right? Where you put out a bounty and then like everyone just responds saying the things that they think you want to hear so that you give them the money or whatever. I guess that, again, that's sort of putting the power back in the creator's hands. If they want to create an echo chamber for themselves, that certainly gives them the ability to, if they only want to distribute money to people that say what they want to hear. And if you want like non-biased opinions, I guess you can distribute money in that way. And it's going to be like sort of an interesting social experiment, because I feel like there will become differences in people's opinions on how bounties should be split up amongst the responses and everything. And people are going to have their own style and what they do with it. So cool, man. I like social experiments. It'll be interesting to see how this whole thing shakes out. But it does seem like a move in the positive direction. Does that, can you talk about sorting? Does that like negate that? Is there anything going on with that coming out?
Yeah, so sorting is probably going to be deprecated. It's going to be phased out. There will be something that we'll probably just call voting, like an up-down voting system for replies. That would just serve as a backup for the finalization of the bounty procedure for distribution. Because right now, the way that bountying works, essentially it's finalized on the back end, but giving the original poster the power to finalize a bounty, they would just need to go back into the system and click finalize, and then the bounty be distributed like however they want. But if, for example, someone forgets that they set a bounty, and after like whatever the duration that they set the bounty at, then whoever voted on the replies previously, that would just help determine the top answers and how it would get distributed. But yeah, I mean, sorting as we know it today, that's most likely going to be deprecated. I think it was helpful for a while, but the thoughtful aspect of the engagement on Scent is one of the things that initially attracted me, and I think it attracted a lot of other people. So trying to keep that bar for quality high on that front is super crucial.
Awesome, man. I feel like the way you guys have thought about all the ins and outs of this, which I hadn't heard anything of until you just mentioned it right now, in terms of like what happens if 24 hours expires, and how you've thought about all of the possibilities and scenarios and everything. I mean, to me, it sounds like a brilliant mechanism. Dude, I've got love for the bots, man. I really feel like your platform isn't shit until people are trying to bot it all the fucking time, right? That's a sign that you're doing something right. I mean, clearly it's a problem that has to be dealt with. But if Scent wasn't doing anything good, no one would be trying to bot it, right?
Yeah, totally. Totally.
So I think I always feel like the bots are a backhanded compliment. Honestly, I feel like I'm big into like game theory and everything. And, I feel like if a bunch of bots comment on your post, it's like annoying. They're not contributing anything, but every like little additional comment, whatever, is like a tick in your box that like brings a little bit more visibility to your post, incites someone just a tiny bit more to check it out and everything. So, the bots aren't all bad, even though it looks bad when, you got it place flooded with bots or whatever, and it's certainly playing whack-a-mole or whatever. But, the bots overall, I feel like they don't come around unless something good is happening. So I'm at peace with the bots as long as we're playing whack-a-mole and continuing. We had like the influx, right, of the Brazilian. I thought we had gotten invaded by like a Brazilian cult or something like that. I was like, oh my God, did like some, faction of Brazil like find us all at the same time or something? And I didn't realize that it was all a bot thing. So, dude, I know, another one of the things we wanted to talk about was collaborations and everything. And I feel like it's sort of been like an ongoing mantra that we've been talking about for weeks now. And we've been trying to do it on our end too. We just wrapped up an upcoming special episode with the guys from Roll. We're getting in the talks of getting marble cards on here for a special episode, and trying to work out collaborations with various people. We had the giveaways with the artists on Scent and everything. I didn't even realize I had shot you an article about like this cool NFT advent calendar that's going to be going on in CryptoVoxels. And you were like, oh, that's another collaboration we have going on, which I didn't even know until I was interested in the post and wanted to discuss it with you. So talk to me, man. What's the deal with that?
Yeah, the team at Mintbase, which as far as I know, it's Carolyn Huansen is at Caro Mintbase. They're throwing this giveaway in CryptoVoxels for a bunch of NFTs each day of the calendar month in December, which is pretty sweet. There's a bunch of companies involved. OpenSea is there, Gnosis is there, MLibT's involved. A bunch of creators individually have agreed to donate or create a specific NFT or two or three or however many they would like to give away. And then on each day, whoever sees the announcement, they can go into CryptoVoxels and go to try to claim the NFT for that day. And we, as a podcast, You Deserve a Drink, got the day before Christmas, the You Deserve a Drink podcast team will be giving away a bunch of NFTs. What we'll be giving away are the centerpiece posts that Marble Cards has agreed to mint for us each episode. I'm looking forward to it. I think it's a really fun initiative after the Secret Senna experiment, which concluded the other day when I give away all 20 NFTs to 20 lucky sentients who seemed all pretty stoked to receive NFTs. A lot of them received NFTs for the very first time. I think this kind of event that Mintbase is throwing is just like another great experiment in getting more people, potentially first timers, like NFTs in their pockets to see what the deal is and to get into CryptoVoxels to see what's going on. And then just to see the companies that are in the space participating. It's all really cool.
Dude, a lot of people are participating in this. I'm looking at the list now from Carol Mint's post. Everybody, like the big names, Mintbase, OpenSea. Some of these I'm going to skip over because I'm not familiar with them and not taking anything away from them. But My Crypto Hero, Sparrow, MLibT, Kickback, Trust Wallet, Max Osiris, Peter Pan, Super Rare, Cent, obviously, Gitcoin. Again, there's like a whole bunch of other ones. Dude, shit like this, I was thinking about it yesterday and actually meant to mention it to you. I feel like we've got to stop saying almost at this point, like, this thing is going to happen. This thing is like really going to take off. I feel like it's fucking happening, man. And right before our eyes, like all the collaborations, like people are coming together and people like really, really give a shit about this. And you know, it's people from all different backgrounds. Some of them are gamers, streamers, you know, artists, obviously, but everyone seems to like really believe that we've got something here. I was listening to your interview with Max Osiris yesterday. Dude's in it 1,000%, man. And you can tell he just really, really believes in the concept and is passionate about it. And, you know, he's a big fish in these waters and everything. I really feel like 6 months ago, man, all this shit was not nothing, but it was really, really far behind what it is now. And now we have like bigger and bigger and bigger collaborations starting to take place. And everyone is fucking working together. It's not like OpenSea is trying to kill off Known Origin, who is like trying to step on, you know, Maker's Place's throat or whatever. And it's really cool to be a part of, man. I haven't seen, you know, I've been in on like the ground floor of like various things over the course of my life. But the energy that's coming from what's going on right here is like really cool and like something different than I feel like I've never truly encountered before.
We're at the beginning of a moment, it feels like. You said 6 months. I feel like 2 to 3 months ago, nothing was like this right now. In a very short amount of time, everything has started to happen. We have these collaborations. We have people on Cent imagining what can happen in CryptoVoxels, making that a reality, coming together, thinking about in real life crypto art shows. We have these events, giveaways. Then in like other sites, there's the DAO Saka. Super Rare is effing killing it. Like last week, they had $35,000 flow through their site in bids and sales. Like 199 ETH flow through there last week, man.
Yeah.
We have people like Cody 3D who are killing it as well. Almost 70 ETH earned for their works of art. They have ever increasing floors to their work. That, for example, one of Cody's new pieces commanded like 4 ETH straight up, like for her first bid. Things are really starting to change. People are starting to take this so seriously. But at the same time, everyone still has that spirit of camaraderie, I think, of collaboration. And it's still so early. Like we have not seen anything yet. but what's happening is just, it's so exciting. And to have this come together like this at the end of this year, which I think has been trying for a lot of people in this space. I mean, I think we're still in the bear, but to have this sort of bright light in the part of crypto that we're active in, it's awesome. And I feel like that's going to constantly get brighter and brighter, and hopefully the rest of the space sees it, and hopefully it can get bright enough to the point that like a lot of people who are just not in the space yet will get attracted and start pouring in and start spreading the creative juices and ideas, and the intermingling of ideas that just constantly makes things more interesting to a broader set of people.
Yeah, man, I really feel like the concept of digital ownership really transcends crypto for me, and I agree with you that we're in the bear market. However, to some extent I feel like it's irrelevant. I almost feel like, at least to what is going on here, because let's say the price of ETH plateaus forever. I don't think that's going to stop this space from continuing to grow organically and on its own. I feel like the concept of digital ownership is a totally different concept that incorporates crypto, but is not like inherently like tied to crypto in the sense that you need to understand one thing to understand the other. And that was actually one of the interesting things that Roll was talking about when we were having the discussion with them about how, half of their battle is getting people on board with this who don't necessarily even want to know or need to know about crypto. They just want to participate in what's going on. I agree with everything you're saying, man. And I feel like regardless of what happens with crypto, this is a different sort of animal spun off of it that is going to do its own thing and only continue to grow from here. It's fucking awesome, man.
Yeah, man. Both of us were collaborating with so many projects, it seems. But I know you have a solo collaboration in CryptoVoxels going on. You want to talk about that?
Yeah, man. Blackbox.art is hooking it up. Blank is moving out of the ground floor of the Cent building in CryptoVoxels at the end of November, and I got a 1-month lease in December for the ground floor of CryptoVoxels. And you and I know, man, I've never made a piece of art that I've minted in my entire life. So I have nothing to put up there. So I'll be featuring all works of art from Cent artists. I think at this point I've got just about everybody. I finally acquired a piece of Connie's the other day because I'm just thinking to myself, I can't like put up this gallery of Cent artists without featuring like, the man himself. I picked up a piece from Chachi the other day, which was also missing from my collection. And of course, I have like all the mainstays. I don't even want to start rattling off names because I know I'll forget somebody, Skeeny, Spontan Art. Matthias, Blackbox.art, obviously, Demon Tiger, everybody, man. I feel like a Paprika. I think I got one from everybody at this point, at least. So I'm gonna flood it with Cent artists, and it'll be like my own personal collaboration. I don't know if anyone's gonna buy anything or whatever, but I think it'll be cool to make a few posts of it, and it comes like right around the holidays, so spreading a little bit of Cent love. But I'm not putting it out there to try and like make a quick buck. I like actually want to keep like these pieces and have hand selected them from everybody because I actually like their art and don't really want to part with it. Some other shit I'll sell if they want to like cruise my OpenSea page or whatever. But the stuff I'm putting out there is like my true collection that I really like and don't want to part with. I'm excited to mess around with CryptoVoxels, man. As of now, I'm going to do it on my own. And I sort of want to just to have like the firsthand experience of playing around in CryptoVoxels. I mean, I've visited a million times, but never actually like attempted to build anything. So I feel like it'll certainly make for interesting discussion, if nothing else, if I can pull off like almost anything. If anyone wants to help me out or give me some advice, feel free to shoot me a DM or something. But I'm moving in, man, and I'm gonna bring everyone along with me, and I'm very excited about it.
Dude, that's awesome. I can't wait to see it. So do you want to move on to some of the posts that have caught our eye over the last week on Cent?
Yeah, go for it, man. You had sent me your list I'll let you take the floor because you sent me a few that I was interested in that weren't on my short list, but that I'm still just as interested in hearing your thoughts on and talking about. So start us off.
Yeah, I have a couple. The first one, I mean, one of the cool things about using a platform like Cent that's obviously crypto focused, and a lot of the users on Cent are crypto natives, is that you get an early look into a lot of the new projects that are springing up in the space. So there's one user, his name is Navorti, Navhorrti, and he was just talking about and put a bounty out for this new video app called Peppo. I know Green Giant and Golkey have also talked about this project. It's interesting, I guess. It's not exactly my cup of tea. It's essentially like you have your mobile and you can upload like 30 or 40-second clips of whatever. It definitely scratches an itch for people that like Instagram or TikTok, I guess. The base of users is obviously crypto heavy. Some of the conversation could be interesting, I imagine, but it's just definitely a project in the space to look out for. Speaking as a member of the team on Cent, I think it definitely highlights the need for some native video feature that we have on the roadmap. But that was an interesting post, and it's an interesting trend to keep an eye on. There's another post by Daniel B, Daniel, capital B. And it was kind of a provocatively titled post, which is why I clicked on it. What happens when the e-girls invade Cent?
This is one of the ones I really wanted to hear your thoughts on because I'm like, what the fuck is an e-girl? Am I like super old and out of touch? Like, I hate those moments, and I'm like, this is one of them, man. Daniel B seems to like know exactly what e-girls are and know that like their impending invasion is going to happen or something. I'm like, so help me out, man. What is going on?
I didn't know what an e-girl was before I clicked on it. I could guess. Like, I was like, is this going to be like a cam girl, or is it something like Instagram-y chicks that they're flaunting like their amazing bodies or something? And it seems to be like halfway in the middle. But the point that Daniel was making was like, hey, with a platform like Cent, where the crowd can essentially curate what content is trending or not, if amazing looking people come onto Cent, won't people just throw money at them? And if people throw money at them based on how the incentives are structured, won't e-girls just flood Cent? And I don't think he had like a value judgment. I think he was just throwing the thought experiment out there. The replies are pretty interesting. A lot of people are like, well, we don't have profile pictures here. Similar accounts have popped up from time to time posting like very titillating pictures and things like that without much success at this point for whatever reason. But other people are like, well, if it happens, it happens. But it seemed like the overall thought is like, Cent's probably not for that right now, just like temperament of the community. But at the same time, they're like, well, if the e-girls can come over here and do something thoughtful. So everyone caveated it with saying, well, like if they're just going to post themselves, like their pictures probably won't fly. But if they're thoughtful about it and add value, which is funny. Like I think that's true. I would agree with that. Like seeing something that you wouldn't see anywhere else. Like why not? It was an interesting post. It highlights a couple things like the incentive mechanisms of Cent, what people think the overall vibe of Cent is, and then what people should do, which is be thoughtful and add value.
Dude, that's hilarious. The e-girl, they're late to market, man. All the good looking people are already on Cent, and so all they've got now is to just be thoughtful and try to work their way in that way. It's they're late to the game. That's funny, man. I really liked I don't use a Pix sentiments being passively active on Cent. And I feel like he gets referenced to almost every podcast or every other podcast. But I really enjoy his writing. And this post took us through like his entire like history basically of engagement on Cent, and sort of talked about how like Cent's ability to be passively engaged through seeding and things like that sort of allowed him to stay relevant and active in the community even when he was having like lulls of inspiration. And that just resonated to me because as someone who is generally a lurker and non-participatory, I feel like that's sort of what, eventually allowed me to come out of my lurker cave with Scent, was just sort of like the ability to not participate, but directly, but still participate, still make my presence known. And it seems like he sort of has some similar feelings of appreciation of being able to participate without participating, or being a member of the community and allowing people to know that he's still a member of the community without necessarily having to comment or think of this long, thoughtful post or something like that. So I was really digging that post. Let's see. Ruino Records, Art and Copy, had a really cool post basically about how, this theory that no art is truly original and everything is sort of like built upon a previous piece and expanded upon something that's already happened before us. There's been a lot of cool posts these past weeks. Did anything else jump out at you? Did you want to get onto Centerpiece?
I mean, I thought those are all good picks. And I just want to echo that. Yeah, it seems like there has been an increase in just like super clickable, interesting, thoughtful posts. And I hope that that trend keeps continuing heading forward. But yeah, let's dive into the Centerpiece. So for anyone new joining, the Centerpiece is our absolute favorite pick of the previous week on Cent. And thanks to Johan and the good folks over at Marble Cards, both of our centerpieces will get minted into NFTs. And as we mentioned at the top of the show, some of these centerpiece NFTs will be given away in the December Advent Calendar event that Mintbase is putting on. So to get into it, my centerpiece for this week was by Cody 3D. Awesome to see him getting more active on Cent. But the piece that I really liked from him was artists who collect art. And his posts recently have really been a deep, thoughtful look into the mind of an artist, specifically crypto artists. And I just feel like those sorts of pieces and that sort of insight is just so valuable. As a collector, I was reading it just so intensely. I was like, oh my God, like what nuggets of wisdom can I get from here? And it's just amazing to see how much he respects his collectors and how much of a collector he is. And then also the trend of artists, at least in the crypto space, sort of taking over as providing a curatorial function. So they're not just members of a particular movement, they're supporting one another. And through that support of other artists, they're helping to put in motion what art people respect, what art is popular, which is really interesting and something that hasn't existed in the history of the art market, which has been traditionally dominated by intermediaries, really, really high wealth individuals they're setting the trends and tastes of the broader community, run by galleries and things like that. If this is the start of something that is not that, I think that's awesome. And I think that that potential lies in thoughts of individuals like Cody 3D. So that was my centerpiece. What was your pick for the week?
That's awesome, man. His other post, Protecting My Art Collectors, was on my short list of posts to discuss this week as well. Have definitely been enjoying Cody 3D's post. We both picked heavyweights for this week. I picked Max Osiris's piece for my centerpiece, Left Street Art plus Crypto. It's a really interesting story talking about how he was gifted a 100-year-old painting that he basically, reimagined and put his own spin on it. And I think he put some crypto on it and then just sort of left it in like a back alley somewhere, hung on a wall, and posted a picture of it just hanging there. And I guess it's the second time that he's done something like that. And I don't know if I'm doing justice explaining exactly what he did. But it's to me, it struck me as very like Banksy-esque. Or whatever, which I'm a huge fan of Banksy's work. So that was really cool to me. And after I'd selected for my centerpiece, I got a chance to listen to the recording that you did with him for the Spotlight. And it further confirmed my my gut feeling that he sort of had that vibe going for him. I mean, dude is like a true artist who like lives and breathes this stuff, and isn't always is clearly looking to make money, but will do things like this for the sake of the art of it all, or for the sake of the social experiment of it all. And I love stuff like that, man. Just outside of the box thinking and randomness for the sake of being random. And it was just a very cool post for me, and cool to see him like pop up and start being more participatory on Scent, because he's got a great like artist vibe and flavor that he brings to the table. So yeah, that was my centerpiece for the week.
Awesome pick. Yeah, Max is like jumping up to the top of the list of one of my favorite people to follow just in life. Like the way he thinks, the work that he's putting out there, it's just so deep, it's so different, and very powerful. And he's affecting a lot of people around him. So, I mean, having presences like that, it's great for everyone. And to be able to follow them, to interact with them, it just makes it all the more special. Well, dude, another awesome show. I hope everyone enjoyed this one. I did a lot. And then next week, look out for that special episode that Rizzo alluded to earlier. That was an interview between us and Sid, one of the co-founders from Try-Roll, the project that is pumping out all that social money. So look out for that, and we'll talk soon.
Thanks, man. You too. Talk soon.
Later.
Later.
Scent Podcast. Scent Podcast. Scent Podcast. Scent Podcast.